Yeah, look, I believe in all that stuff. Aliens seeding life on Earth, the mothership, all that stuff. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to my take. Well, it's not my take, it's Miguel Crespo's take. Whatever. For inspiration to go.
Welcome to My Take, Pastor Crespo here. My Take is your oasis of inspiration and hope in the desert of negativity and despair. Thank you for joining the podcast. I have an article here I want to share with you. And yes, I started out saying, yes, I believe in aliens. I believe in a mothership. I believe aliens seeded life on this earth. All of that, let me explain to you what I am talking about. Before I do that, let me just say, as I start the podcast always, if you are blessed by anything you experience here, like, share, subscribe, let your friends know about this podcast. If you know anyone who is tired of all the negativity in the news, man, it's, I keep saying it gets worse and worse, but then I look around and it's worse and worse than when I said that before. People are just losing their minds. It's a sign of the Lord coming soon, but it's just crazy to see and experience. If you know someone who's just as tired of that stuff as I am and as you are, let them know that this podcast exists. Let them know that we are here to, yes, if we can find something to laugh about, we're going to laugh. But more important than laugh, I want to share Bible wisdom with you. I want you to get to know the originator of the scriptures, the author of the Bible, the creator of everything. Once you get to know him, I'm telling you, your life will never, ever be the same again. All right, I have an article here. And I don't know if you remember, in 2017, there was this news item, this thing that kind of got people's attention, and they said that they have been able to detect an object that has entered our solar system that is from outside of the solar system. And there was all sorts of things that were being said about it. They thought it was a spaceship. They thought it was this or that. They thought it was a comet, a meteor. Well, the article I want to share with you stems from that 2017 comet. But it's the thing about this article is that this is something that is being promoted at the highest levels of government. And so let me share this with you. Here's the title of this news article. It says, a Pentagon official and a Harvard scientist suggest that an alien mothership is watching the Earth. That's right. Let me share some of this article with you. So this is really an article about a draft paper that's been written up by a Harvard scientist and someone from the Pentagon's UFO office. And what they are saying is, if you remember that comet, they called it Oumuamua, that this comet, they believe is not a comet at all, that they believe that it is a mothership and that it actually has been sending tiny probes throughout the solar system in order to just map out the galaxy and find if there is intelligent life out there. Let me read some of this to you just to get you a little bit of the flavor of what this is about. The article says, in the paper, the name of the paper is Physical Constraints on Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. This is the new term for UFOs, UAPs, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. The pair, that is the scientists and the Pentagon official, they said that it is possible that an extraterrestrial spaceship could be in the galactic vicinity of the Earth, sending out what they call dandelion seeds to explore nearby planets. Now, these seeds, or this method of sending out these probes, is similar to something that NASA could do if they had the technology. And actually, we're doing something of that when we send probes to Mars, for example. Now, what they're saying, what's the mothership? The mothership, they're saying, is that Oumuamua comet that came through in 2017. Astronomers found it and initially believed that it was going to be a comet, but the problem that they found is that it didn't fit their normal definition of a comet. Normally, a comet would be shaped a certain way, would have this amount of gas that surrounds it and creates this halo effect, and it didn't have some of those things that normal comets do. The Oumuamua, as they called it, was a cigar-shaped object from outside the solar system. And because its shape was not typical for a comet, that's what caused them to kind of wonder a little bit what it might be. Now, the interesting thing here that made them kind of wonder about this is that what they found is that when this, I'm going to call it a comet. I personally don't believe it was a spaceship, but I'm going to call it a comet. When this comet came through, they noticed that as it was passing through the solar system, and it was moving away from the sun. It was actually in a accelerating motion. It was going faster as it was going away from the sun. And again, I don't know what that means because you don't know what speed it was going at before. I'm just sharing the article with you. And so it got these scientists, these people to think about what it might be. The article is saying this, that they believe that Oumuamua is a cosmic visitor, that it may be an alien spaceship, that they believe that this alien spaceship could be sending out probes throughout the solar system in order to map out and search for intelligent life, intelligent worlds. This article is pretty long. It talks about the fact that, we don't know for sure if it's sending out these probes because the probes might be so small, they might not reflect light, and it'd be hard for us to see. But listen to more of this article because it starts getting weird. It says this. It says, the alien civilization that... Well, let me back up. It says in the draft paper that they wrote, the scientists also put forth the theory that aliens would likely want to explore rocky planets with an atmosphere, meaning Venus, Earth, and Mars. Earth, however, would be especially enticing given the large amount of water on our planet. Here's the interesting thing. The alien civilization that created these probes, they wrote, would not need to be on the mothership. In fact, it's likely they wouldn't even be able to communicate with the probes. Loeb and Kirkpatrick, these are the two individuals responsible for the draft paper, they also raised the point that this civilization may not even exist anymore, given that most stars in the solar system formed billions of years ago. Now, as I kept reading this, they are putting forth a lot of interesting ideas. They're saying that comet is a spaceship. It's been sending out probes. We wouldn't be able to detect it. That it's very likely that the people that initially sent out Oumuamua, that they're not even alive anymore. They're more than likely extinct and dead. And because of the distance that these things have to travel and the time it takes, that it's just going through the motions, again, doing what they say it's going to do. After reading all that, here it says, of course, this is all theoretical. I read this article and I thought, I think I just wasted a good 10, 15 minutes of my life reading this article. Imagine creating this scenario of a mothership, creating a scenario of this idea of sending out probes to map planets, to be interested in these planets that have an atmosphere like Earth, that have water like the Earth, and then say, well, they're probably extinct now because it's taken so long. They know the speed that little ship, that little comet travels, and they can calculate how long it's going to take to get from place to place and send out probes and all that. Well, they're probably dead already anyway. And then after all that, they say it's all theoretical. I wanted to find something to laugh about at this article. I don't know that I did. I find the article, I was going to say that the topic is exciting, but probably the better thing to say would be that the topic is enticing. Everybody wants it to be true. If you've been a fan of Star Trek, if you've been a fan of Star Wars, if you've been a fan of some of the other science fiction TV series and movies that have come throughout the decades, everybody likes the idea of an alien. E.T., extraterrestrial, the search for E.T., the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. All of these things speak to an inner desire and this inner belief or a desire to believe that there is alien life out there. And there are these, benevolent Men in Black. There's another movie, 1, 2, and 3. All these movies just building up this idea that there are aliens out there and they're this, that, and the other. I got to tell you, how I read this article and I thought to myself, what's the Bible take? What's the Bible wisdom in here that I can share with those of the My Take family? Well, there is something that I want to share with you today on the podcast. And I want to share this with you. I have a confession to make. I believe in aliens. Yes, I believe in aliens. And I'll shock you even more than that. I believe that aliens seeded life on this earth. But my take is a little bit different than probably the average person. If you go downtown of any city and you do a survey and you start asking people questions, you might ask them this. First of all, do you believe in aliens? The majority will probably say that it's probably true that there are aliens. If you ask them, do you believe that aliens have visited the earth? You might get half and half on that. Some people believe aliens have visited the earth. Others may come up with scientific reasons why they might not come here. But if you said, do you believe that aliens are interested in what happens here on earth? And if you believe in aliens, then you're probably going to believe that as well. A lot of the UFO programs, a lot of the UFO documents, a lot of the things that are being written about this say that the aliens are concerned that human beings are developing nuclear power, the ability to destroy themselves, the ability to destroy the planet, and that aliens are particularly concerned about that. Okay. If you were to ask those same people, do you believe in God? You would probably get a greater percentage that might question or just flat out say no. If you would say, do you believe that God has visited the earth? Well, again, if you don't believe in God, you wouldn't believe that he visited the earth. If you ask someone, do you think that this God, if he exists, cares? Well, you probably would get a surprising number of people that say, no, if there is a God, he does not care. My friend, I want to tell you, the Bible is the guide that I use to judge things. Did you know that there are aliens in the Bible? That's right. There are aliens in the scriptures. I can give you an example of that. I will say this, that first of all, the Bible talks about angels, angelic beings. If they're not human and they don't live here originally, then by definition, they're aliens, right? Okay, let me share with you from a book in the Bible called the Book of Job. If you want a good read, you need to read the Book of Job. It's a little bit long. I have to tell you, it's about 40 chapters or so. It's a little bit long, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. But in the Book of Job, it starts out saying something like this. That says that there was a day, and this is from Job chapter 1, for those of you that are interested. There was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. And the Bible says that on that day, Satan came among them. Now, he had already been kicked out of heaven because of his rebellion. But on that day, when they came to present themselves together, which almost sounds like it was a special meeting that took place, he came among them. But the interesting thing is this, that the Lord, when Satan appeared before him, the Lord said unto Satan, he says, from where are you coming? And Satan's response was this, from going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. You see, Satan came representing planet Earth. There's some that read this and see that somehow God was having a gathering of his creation, of his angels. And if Satan came from planet Earth, there's a very real possibility that other angels came from other planets representing them, or other created beings representing these other planets. Satan posed it this way to God because when he got Adam and Eve to sin, he claimed ownership of the planet. When you conquer an enemy, you own everything they once owned. And he conquered Adam and Eve by enticing them to sin. So here we have Lucifer, Satan, making a claim on earth in front of gathering with the Lord. And obviously, this meeting did not take place on planet Earth. It took place somewhere else. Now, I don't want to get too crazy here, but if you want to say you believe in aliens, that's not counter to what the Bible teaches. If you want to say you believe that aliens have visited this earth, that is not counter to the Bible's teachings. Now, you need to get your head on straight. Those aliens are angels. Though visiting the earth is angels, and God himself has visited this planet. Now, what does all this mean? What is the inspiration that you can find in it? Well, I guess what I want to share with you is this. You have a choice. You can get bogged down in the science fiction of the world, with lightsabers and phasers and starships and the Vulcans and the Klingons and Boba Fett and all of these other things, which they can capture the imagination for sure. Or you can wrap up in the real issues, the real aliens, the real Star Wars, the battle between good and evil. And yes, my friends, I don't know if there is a quote unquote mothership, but if there is a mothership, I can guarantee you it's piloted by the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. Friends, I want to talk to you this morning. What is it that you believe in? What do you believe in? How does that belief impact your life? You can believe in aliens. You can believe in long dead civilizations sending out probes, and now they're still going on, but the civilizations are long gone. Or you can believe in God, the God, by definition, not of this world. He's bigger and better and above all. He came to this planet to explore this world, but to save its inhabitants. That's you and I. He is the one that seeded life on this earth. And yes, guess what? This alien is promising to come back. Let me share one Bible text with you real quickly here. Jesus was speaking to his disciples near the end of his earthly ministry. And he said this to them in John 14:2-3. He says, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. My friends, belief in life beyond this world is not counter to the Bible. But you need to know what life we're talking about. The life of the infinite God who did seed life on this earth, who did create you and I, who does care what happens on this planet, and is going to come back again very soon one day. I'm looking forward to be taken up, and if you want to call it the mothership, you can call it the mothership. The Bible calls it the New Jerusalem. I'm looking forward to that day. How about you? That's my take. And that's inspiration to go.